The sports world is mourning the death of former New York Jets star Nick Mangold. The team announced his death, saying it was due to kidney disease complications. His death comes about 2 weeks after he spoke about his condition on social media in an appeal for a kidney donation. Joining me to talk more about this morning is our 9 Health expert, Dr. Kohli. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. What a loss.
What a loss, I know. So let's talk a little bit about the timeline here. He said in 2006 that he had this genetic defect that led to kidney disease. Then earlier this year, he said he was on dialysis, and then 2 weeks ago, he put out a plea for a kidney. So let's start with the genetic defect. What are the types of genetic conditions that can lead to kidney disease like this?
So genetic conditions leading to kidney disease is actually pretty rare, only 5 to 10% of kidney disease. But there's a whole host of conditions. We don't know exactly which one he had, but there's something called polycystic kidneys, where you develop these cysts in your kidneys that leads to essentially kidney failure as an adult. That's a genetic condition. There are genetic conditions that affect the filtration units of the kidney. Those are called the glomeruli. There are genetic conditions that affect the ability of the kidney to concentrate your urine, to filter your electrolytes, to maintain your acid-base status. And then there's systemic conditions that can also affect the kidney. So it's unclear which of these he had, but certainly something genetic usually presents early in life. And if he put it out 20 years ago, he was in his 20s when he first got diagnosed.
Okay, so then now, nearly 20 years later, he announced earlier this year that he was on dialysis. Is that a normal timeline?
So on average for genetic conditions, and for most other conditions too, it's about 10 to 20 years from the onset of kidney disease to dialysis. Now, if it's something that presents at childhood, it could be a little shorter than that because it's more aggressive. It's something that comes on a little bit later. Even if it's genetic, sometimes it doesn't get turned on until you're an adult, then it can be a little bit longer. But yeah, 10 to 20 years sounds about right.
Okay, so then a couple weeks ago, he put out a plea that he needed a kidney. Does that mean the dialysis just wasn't working and that they were like really in dire straits to find this kidney?
I think so, yeah. So essentially you can, in theory, live on dialysis forever. Dialysis sort of replaces the main functions of the kidneys, the electrolytes, the acid-base status, the fluid regulation, gets rid of extra fluid, but it can't replace all the hormones and everything else the kidney does. And so patients on dialysis can die from complications of dialysis, such as, infections or low blood pressure, or they can die from complications of the kidney disease, like their potassium levels get too high and that can cause a cardiac arrhythmia, cause the heart to stop, or they have too much acid in their blood that can cause the blood vessels to stop working. So it's unclear whether it was the dialysis or the complications of the kidney disease, but certainly if he had gotten a kidney in the last 2 weeks and he was blood type O, which is the hardest blood type to get a kidney. Sometimes those people are waiting 10 years on dialysis for a kidney, but if he had gotten one, it's possible this death could have been prevented.
I was going to ask you what the wait list is for a kidney like this, and clearly why he put out an appeal on social media asking for someone to come forward.
I mean, the average time usually, Corey, is about 3 to 5 years. But again, some of those rarer blood types, it can be up to 10 years. Usually if you have a matched donor or you have a family member who's not a match, but they're giving a kidney to someone else and someone else gives them a kidney, that's the fastest way to get it, is to really try to, get a plea out there. But, most kidney disease, like I said, is not genetic. Most of it is actually acquired, which means it's in our control. We know kidney disease in the United States on the way up. It's going up and up and up. And the most common cause is diabetes because that sugar poisons the kidneys. The second most common cause, high blood pressure. People don't realize they have it. But even things like ibuprofen use has been linked, obviously, to kidney disease. And even kidney stones and infections like strep that's not treated can cause inflammation in the kidney after.
So there are ways to prevent it. Real quick question for you. He has 4 kids. Is this something that his kids need to watch out for now?
If it's genetic, for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. His kids need to get screened for those particular genes, and they need to obviously get imaging of their kidneys to make sure they're not having the same type of problem. The earlier, the better. And for the average American, kidney disease doesn't present with symptoms until it's too late.
Yeah.
And that's when you can't stop it. So get a urine test and get a blood test every year, especially if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, you're obese, you're African American, you're Hispanic, you have heart disease, any of those high-risk groups, or you have a family history, those are the ones that need to be screened early.
It is so heartbreaking for his family. Dr. Kohli, thank you so much for coming in.